In Nancy's introduction to Session 3, she talked about one of the results of this session would be to create a lot of disequilibrium in us. And I think that did happen. We walked away with a lot of questions. So we invited the panel to come down and talk a little bit more about what they were saying up on stage, and then also to address some of the questions that were on the blog site. Let's hear what they had to say.
Brian, in this last session, one of the questions people had a lot of energy around was just this whole issue about the church being homophobic.
Yeah.
You know, how can we best wrestle that these days?
Yeah. Well, two things come to my mind, David. One is, first we ought to realize how big this issue is.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows exactly how many gay people there are, but probably, I think a good estimate is about 7% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you think they each have two parents, so now we're up to 21% of the population. And if they have one sibling, that's 28% of the people are either gay or have in their nuclear family a gay person. And I think one of the questions we have to ask is, would we rather have gay people in our church or not? Some people say, oh, we'd be happy to have ex-gay people in our church, but would we rather have them?
Right.
And
you want to vote right now, both of us? We vote yes, right?
That's
yes.
right.
Yeah.
I had to ask this question of the leaders of my church when I got an email one day from a lady. I'll never forget this email. It was on a Monday, and it said, I've been attending this church for 6 months. I didn't know how much it meant to me until yesterday when I realized I'm probably not welcome there.
Wow.
And she went on to say that she was lesbian. She'd grown up in a Christian home and had tried everything she could to not be lesbian, and finally said, I'm either going to commit suicide or I'm just going to have to accept that this is the way I am. Had left the church, got into a relationship. Her partner wanted to go to church, so they ended up at church.
Wow.
I met with her and I said, look, here's what I can tell you. We have people at our church who think homosexuality is wrong. And I can't promise you that they won't make your life a little difficult. But I also can tell you that I went to the leaders of our church and I said, do you want gay people here? And they said yes. We can't be good Christians if we don't welcome people.
Yeah,
So.
I totally agree. I remember we first faced this issue 20 years ago when the ushers came to me after the service and said, what should we do about all the men in the back row that are holding hands together?
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't remember a seminary prof covering that particular subject. And what do you think about Dan's statement in his book about being welcoming but not affirming?
Well, that's.
Think it's possible?
I think it's possible. I think that works for people who are already Christians and are gay, and they want to be able to be honest about who they are. I don't think that works for people who are in relationships, and because in a way, a lot of them have been damaged so much that they don't want to cause trouble, but they also don't want to get more damage. So, I think that's where, thank God, we have different kinds of churches that are going to be more or less helpful to different people.